Originally released on itch.io, which by the way is the version that I'm playing, and now available on Steam. Code Bunny by Team 7 Star is an 8-bit side-scrolling action indie title that seems like a bit of a mixture between Sonic the Hedgehog and Mega Man, with a story that goes a little bit off the rails at the end. But fear not, there won't be any real spoilers here. Which just kills me inside, guys, because the devs gave me this game for free, for review, thanks by the way, which means they're probably gonna see this video, giving me the opportunity to grief them. Except that I have a policy against spoiling good games. What to do? Maybe we'll find a way to work around that. So, hopping straight into the game, it wastes no time at all as you are presented with two playable characters, Axel and Hazel. Now, I should also point out that while both characters do interact with each other during the story, doubly so if players enter the optional chat room between story beats where they get to enjoy some banter and character development, which I personally really enjoyed. This isn't like, say, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, where their stories overlap, eventually coming together for one true ending, or really anything of the sort. And while you do learn unique information during each character's run, we're dealing with more of a what-if scenario here. What if character A was the lead in the story instead of character B? Meaning, it doesn't really matter who you choose first. Though, personally, I'd recommend starting out with Axel, since Hazel has a much harder learning curve. Though, of course, I didn't know that going in and just went, ooh, chick with a sword, let's go! That didn't end well for me. Opening in a city under siege that is really rocking those Mega Man vibes. Axel, or Hazel, is charged with finding out who is causing this madness and why, as they battle their way through hordes of robots, dispatching them all pretty differently from each other despite the fact that they have the same standard attack combo and downward strike for pogoing off enemies. Axel is our good-hearted anti-violence hero, as well as a former ice skater. Yeah, bet you didn't see that coming. Who likes to spin to win, ricocheting off enemies to damage them. Hazel, on the other hand, is a no-nonsense soldier whose main gimmick is to hit her foe with a projectile, lock on, and then dash in for the kill. And while these skills absolutely make mincemeat out of these mechanized menaces, they also serve a second function. Hazel's lock-on lets her dash over long gaps to strike her foes, while Axel likes to pinball off them to reach greater heights, playing nicely into how I think this game actually wants to be played, aka fast. Or so how I think based on the level design. That and the game's trailers, which, oh wow, I never even came close to pulling off moves like that. Ah crap, I think I might be bad at this game. At first glance, you'd think this is where I'd actually be pulling out the Mega Man comparisons, as the stages and characters are rocking, a very beautiful 8-bit style with nicely designed backdrops, platforms scattered all around going up and down, and character sprites that just have that Mega Man-esque feel to them. And that's not even mentioning the music, which would be right at home on the NES in any Capcom or Konami title, just bringing that energy and a sense of speed to every stage and battle. It's good stuff. But no, you know what? Surprisingly, despite all of that, the stages actually play a lot more like Sonic, with a greater focus on speed, as all the stages are laid out fundamentally like classic 2D Sonic, with an upper path that's harder to stay on, and lower paths with more foes that don't actually need to be wiped out in order to continue, but all magically happen to line up just right to let speedrunners cheese their way to faster times. The built-in time trial mode wasn't a clue either, by the way. Now, where a lot of the Mega Man influences strike, gameplay-wise, has to be the boss fights. While very few in total, and no, they aren't against robot masters requiring specific powers, but they are those one-on-one type of fights that requires understanding of patterns and when to attack in order to be successful. And especially if you want to bring them down fast, combo off, and land the highest score possible. And to pull that off, you're gonna need to know how to use Axel and Hazel's karma meters. So yeah, I might have left this out earlier, because honestly, it didn't really matter all that much to a non-speedrunner like myself during the main stages. but oh boy, during the boss fights, you're gonna need it. And honestly, a big part of why I didn't really notice it is because the way they go about explaining it is done poorly. Basically, the game hits you with a standard movement tutorial at the start of the game, but then it just tells you to read the rest, including the karma meter stuff, in the menus. Which, yeah, I totally did that. Absolutely. During the final boss fight, which I totally wasn't getting destroyed in. So anyway, the karma meter works like this. Axel's meter charges when he bounces off foes, eventually allowing him to use dash moves, including a which I can definitely see being abusable in speedruns, though I could never really hit any bosses with it. Not that I needed to though. The spin is busted. But Hazel, not so much. She actually uses her attack combo, and the more you use it, the more your karma meter builds, and the more damage you take. Wait, what? How is that a good thing? Well, consider it a double-edged sword. In order to lower your karma back down, you need to use her dash attack, which will deal more damage the more karma you have. With the other option being that if you allow your karma to overtake your health, you'll enter karma mode, dealing 4 times the damage, at the cost of, you know, death, should you take any real hits. Very risk reward, once again just screaming speedrun strats to me. Fortunately for me, I didn't really need them as the game is very forgiving, dropping you right back into the action upon death, meaning that you'll easily be able to run through each story pretty quickly. It took me about 3 hours total, and that's mainly because I struggled hard at the final boss fight using Hazel. Definitely felt like a major difficulty spike there, but it is also kinda what drove me into the menus to learn about the karma system at all, so yeah. Now then, I do believe at the beginning of this video I mentioned something about griefing the devs? So again, no real spoilers here, but I do need to bring up the story, which I usually don't do in most videos as that's really subjective. But I am not throwing away my shot to whine at the devs. Or, for real, to give some legit constructive criticism. And luckily, for those of you who don't care about this kind of stuff, the game does actually feature a storyless mode, akin to another Sonic Mega Man-esque game, Freedom Planet. So this won't actually affect any of you. But here's the real issue: the ending. Throughout the entire game, the story made sense. It felt like it was building up a world, all leading to a pretty standard anime power of friendship ending, which is cool. I like that. Nothing wrong with it. Except that's not really what ends up happening here. The ending just feels kinda rushed, like it's been tacked on, with the truth that they all go on about concerning the nature of the world feeling like it comes right out of left field and leaves so much of the ending up to speculation. My personal guess is that it relates to the name of the game, but seriously guys, I'm just guessing here. And I'm also guessing that a lot of gamers' final takeaway from Code Bunny will be either intrigue around the world or just plain confusion. And Code Bunny certainly flips that coin. Though the Steam version is expected to get more talk room segments, so who knows, maybe they'll be fleshed out more. But either way, Code Bunny is awesome. It is a fun little action-packed indie gem with likable characters, and I'm guessing a speedrunner's treasure trove worth of replayability. It is absolutely worth checking out.